So I just came back from taking the toad, riding the toad, as they say, which is participating in a 5-MEO DMT toad venom smoking ceremony. This is the toad that they find in the Sonora Desert, in which they extract venom from, and you smoke it. There's a synthetic version of it too, so there's different ways of doing it. But the toad way is the way that I did it, and it is considered to be the most powerful psychedelic on earth, and definitely I would say that it probably is. I haven't had all the psychedelics, but what's profound for me and what's worth sharing is what I am trying to do here in this video, and that is, it's definitely, if you've never had the experience of the divine, if you've never had the experience of the no self state, this can definitely get you there. I don't know if it'll get everybody there, but it's the most likely tool in the arsenal of psychedelics that I can think of, because that's exactly where most people in the ceremony I was in went to. It's the state. Well, for me, it's a weird thing, and this is kind of why I'm making the video, because it's I don't know how to share this. I don't know how to process this, but my reason for going into this ceremony was a little bit different than most people's. I have had no self, non-dual experiences ongoing for about 13 years, since I had this thing called a Kundalini awakening happen when I was 29. And I've never really known how to categorize it or process it, and I've had a lot of up and downs with it, trying to figure out what does it all mean, what's the point of it, why am I doing all this weird phenomenon? And there's absolutely not any real, I would say, ability to share or connect with most people, because very few people, I think, have gone through an authentic Kundalini. It's just one of those things. You can go to like Kundalini yoga classes and whatnot and see people doing the postures, but it's not the same thing as being completely just overwhelmed by it and have it completely change your life. So it's interesting. So I had this, I guess, desire to see if this toad venom was going to take me into the same space. And if it did, I would then have, I guess, some way of connecting with others and sharing with them, a really important tool. Because if you've never been in that state, if you've never had access to encounters with the transcendent reality that exists, you're really at a huge disadvantage in life, because I feel that that's a huge part of who you really are that you don't know anything about, and it makes you very vulnerable to not only your ego but the egos of everyone and the world that those egos create. So to me, I have been searching my whole life for a way of trying to find something that I could say, hey man, look, in order for you to kind of understand some of the places that I've been and some of the perspectives that I've gotten through my Kundalini, what can I do? Most people aren't going to meditate as much as I did to sort of stimulate that experience when it happened 13 years ago, because my Kundalini opened when I was just after a lot of effort meditating and trying to change my life, wanting it to become a better life, right? Finding the truth, and it came to me in a way that I didn't expect. So, long story short, 5-MEO DMT is definitely a way to blast off into that aspect of reality. And it's important because you will find a lot of the things that you'll find in those experiences that you think you're going to find. For me, it was a big wake-up call. When I arrived in the space of the toad space, it was almost as if it was a joke. It was like the universe just slapping me in the face and saying, look, man, where'd you think you're going to go, right? What did you think you were going to find? And all of the physical sensations and all of the phenomenon of purging, and I did all that, right? It's nothing that I haven't done before, and that's not saying anything bad about the experience. It's just it fulfilled the goal that I had for it. And now I'm processing that, going, well, holy shit, there's nowhere to go, really, for any of us, except break down the barriers between, your ego, your sense of identity that you have now, and what's real, what's really real. And there are different ways to do that. And I would recommend this Toad Venom 5 MEO DMT experience for everybody who is ready. Because if you're not ready, you're not going to, this is not for your average frat bro. Anybody who's taking selfies every day, people that just, those people would benefit, but, I don't know. Like, it's not something that you can do and then expect to go back to your normal life. It's definitely going to shift you. I've been shifting, and for me, the experience was that third-party validation that I really needed to know to stop fucking looking, to stop searching, to stop trying to do anything but maintain basically, a daily practice of accepting what we are in these different dimensions and these different levels of reality, and breaking whatever barriers there are between, what we are at an infinite level and what we are on a finite human level, and bridging that gap, however you can with whatever tools are going to work, and so you can go online, you can read about all the crazy stuff that people experience, all the transcendent experiences and all that stuff. And that's great, but this video is more, I guess, just sort of, I don't know. Like, I think I'm just trying to put it together for myself, but also just, if anybody's out there in that world where they've read a lot about Kundalini stuff, or they've read a lot about what this might do, this Toad Venom might do, I will just confirm it. It will definitely put you in that space. The question is, are you ready for it? And if you think you are, make sure you find someone who's highly reputable. Do not take this stuff recreationally. Do not go out there and try and be a hero and think that you're gonna, prove anything to anyone. Because once you're in the no mind space, in the no self space, and you find yourself being not what you thought you were, and you have big plans for what you thought you were, you're going to have your ass handed to you, and some people's egos might not be able to recover from that. I don't know. I had a good time. I had a very intense time, but it's a time that I know is very good for me, and it's good for everybody else. So, yeah, I think that's, I'm not going to get into details any more than anybody else has. It's covered pretty well on the internet what this can do, but I really do appreciate that people put it together. I appreciate what their mission is in life, which is to wake people up to this sense of self that is not their ego. That's a very important milestone in your life, and it will change everything. And it is, I tell you this right now, the only real maybe the one funny thing that's happened to me since I got back is yesterday was the Super Bowl. And I remember watching all the Super Bowl ads and just feeling so sad to have to sit there and watch these ads. Because they were such, I don't know what it was. I think it was just knowing that people have put so much money into things that were so unimportant for anybody's happiness. If you want to go eat Burger King or buy a brand new car, I don't care. I will probably do one of those things at some point in the near future. But the intention that went into creating the ads and the effort that put in, the money spent, I'm just thinking, what a fucking waste of time. When all that money could have been spent on something so much more helpful to people in life. And my time could have been spent, I don't know, maybe it was such a boring Super Bowl that I'm mad. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there will be shifts in awareness. There will be shifts in what you think. And those shifts, again, have been ongoing for me. I'm just maybe happy to report that to people out there, any loved ones of mine, any friends of mine, that if you ever wanted to see yourself in eternity, here's a way to do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't. But for those who are seeking, this is definitely a great tool. So I will probably just leave it on that. And, don't... Be very careful who you do this with. Do not, if someone comes up to you shaking a rattle in your face, wiping you down with an eagle feather, telling you that they're going to help you find God with this stuff. I don't know. Don't. One more thing about this experience that I'll share is that a thought that came to my mind upon exiting was that Jesus and Satan were the same person. The only difference between Jesus and Satan is that Jesus chose better. You know? Like, they were the same energy at one point, which is where we're all coming from, but one chose wisely and the other chose selfishly. And that created the world we live in. You know, whether you believe these people were real or not, the archetypes of those forces are every day in our lives. And coming out of that experience, I just remember going, Rich, like, yeah, you know, fear is just something you're choosing. That there's really nothing to be afraid of. I mean, you can use fear as a tool, but it's not your life story unless you want to make it your life story. And choosing to be selfish versus choosing to be of service, they both have consequences and they both can go out of balance. So there's nothing to really be or do. Just try not to be an asshole, I think, is it. And understand that you're coming from a bigger place, and most of the shit that people are caught up in is completely a waste of time. I will never get into a political debate with anybody ever again because it's completely fucking worthless and a waste of time. Because if you can't have this type of experience at least once in your life and understand the perspective of things as they really are and what the stakes really are, nothing you're going to fucking say in politics is going to affect anything long term, because egos will reassert themselves. And until the energy of the ego has been reformatted, healed, has encountered this higher energy and knows that it's real, because it's, you know, besides politics, any topics around atheism or religion, you just see what a waste of time really all that shit is. I mean, it's a huge waste of fucking time to be that caught up in those things when you can wake up and realize that you are this love, you know, this infinity, and it's manifesting as you temporarily, and you should own that and make the best of it. I woke up out of this kind of feeling I need to get my ass in gear, and I need to get some shit done, and I got to stop being afraid, you know, and I think that's a really good thing. So, yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. Just be very careful about doing this. Don't be a knucklehead going into this. And have your opportunity. Take your chance to meet and see things in a way that I can't explain. I'll leave it at that.